Hey, everybody, and welcome to Evolution 2026, our growing growth summit that has just been incredible. Every day, I was talking to a few people, and here in the United States, we have Baskin Robbins, the 33 flavors. With our 33 calls, that's how I feel. We've had 33, we're going to have 33 flavors of guests that are adding all sorts of energy to this event. And today's no different. Today, I welcome a dear friend, another creator and community owner, and amazing coach, Lorena Millan. How are you, Lorena?
Good, Brando. Thank you for having me here. And Dinka, thank you so much for building this space. Starting up January, so pumped up, and sharing and just growing communities just feels amazing and very exciting.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. We haven't had the honor to meet, but I'm super excited to get to know you. And yeah, let's do this.
Yes, of
So,
course.
Lorena, the first thing I've been asking all the guests, and it's been a fun way to start, is they just talk, and then I'll ask questions later. Is who is Lorena Millan? And if I'm butchering
Yes.
your last name, tell me that.
It's so funny because people here in the US, well, first of all, I come from Venezuela, right? So I've been living here in the US for 15 years now. 16 actually. Just turned 60 this January. And my when I say my last name, like Milan, people think that it comes from Europe or something. It's funny. And they're like, oh, like the city. And I always have to explain like the city but with double L actually is very Venezuelan from the outside regions of Venezuela. That's where my dad was born. And yes, I lived all of my life in Venezuela until I moved here in 2010 and decided to, I was married back then and decided I was not going to have my kids in Venezuela just for the political situation, still live in that mess. And yeah, and I came here. I graduated as a chemical engineer. I'm literally I studied chemical engineering, never actually work on it. And I started my wellness journey back in 2012 when I was pregnant with my first daughter. That was the ignition of my whole wellness journey. And that's how I became later on in life a wellness coach. But for me, it's been almost 14 years of wellness journey. And my transformation started just because I went through many disappointments myself, like just trying to be healthy, but not really, just doing workouts that made me throw up, just going through crazy diets that would be very restrictive and very damaging for my mental and physical health. And nothing seemed to work until I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, I said, well, I need to change this because I cannot have a kid and be this example, you know? When you're pregnant, you start thinking about all your life choices and what you're going to do with this baby and how you're going to show them how to be a better person. And so I had to start with myself. And that's how I started. And I remember just going through prenatal yoga, doing things that I was very uncomfortable with because I didn't know anything like how am I supposed to eat that is not a diet, like eat good stuff for the baby and for me. And as soon as I had the baby, well, I started running. I remember, well, I have to do something to lose the weight to feel better with myself, pretty much. The first goal was to lose the weight. The second goal was to feel better with myself because I felt horrible. Of course, postpartum is just, it hits you very hard. And I remember, well, I need the stroller or something that I can take the baby with. It was just about that. Like, this is the only thing that I can do with the baby. And I remember I used to hate gyms. The thought of going to a gym was very intimidating. I used to always pay attention to who was looking at me, like people. It felt awkward all the time. So I was never a gym girl and never liked it. Plus the dudes going and just dropping weights. It was like, oh my gosh, I just want to get out of here. But as soon as I started running and just jogging, walking, started like walking, jogging with my stroller, I just felt so good. And it was a space for myself. The baby usually would go to sleep even. She would literally just be in heaven and I was in heaven too. So it started being like a very, very personal time for me, very one-on-one for me. Felt amazing. And pretty soon I got hooked. That's what happened. And when you got hooked with something, you start doing it because you feel that's the reason I've been working out for almost 14 years now. It's just more for my mental health and my physical health. Of course, the reward is amazing because you see it in your body and you feel stronger and you do more. But this feeling when you're finished that you did it, that you know did what you said you were going to do for yourself and how good you feel is what I keep calling bottle feeling, that I want to put in a bottle and pretty much open it at 6 a.m. when I don't want to do it. Or, when I don't want to wake up and I really need this feeling, like the sensation that it gives you, the heights, like they say, like the runner high and everything. It's so valuable because that's what keeps me coming back, like just following and keep chasing that better version of myself. So to answer your question, I literally started talking about my story, but I'm a wellness coach and I help women build muscle, get strong, and build confidence over anything else because I do believe that confidence is built through movement. I experienced myself that throughout the years in my whole journeys. That's what I do.
I love that. And I think thank you for sharing all of that so openly. And I really think your story is, again, it flows a theme with a lot of our guests in how they live their life is you didn't start all of a sudden you love running and going to the gym and now you're doing it every day. And you said like the rigid routines, they were destroying you. The rigid diets. What you did was you grabbed your stroller and you started running a little bit. And then you got a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. I wouldn't even know any of that if you didn't tell me because when I first met you, from what I know of you, you're like the gym bro of gym girls. Like you are. So like when you told me like I don't like going to the gym, I was intimidated by it. I was like, oh, I would have never seen that. So you
No.
progressed.
Yes, 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 yes. Back in my 20s, I remember being in the university, and like feeling very bad about my body. I will always hide my body in sweaters. I will always feel uncomfortable going on dates and going with guys and with the groups, going dancing, whatever. And I remember thinking like I need to exercise, but it was almost like I have to. I have to go to the gym. I have to do this. And every single time I walk in through a gym, I would see these dudes screaming or these perfect girls in the gym. I'm like, I don't belong here. And for me it was like I don't like this energy, like I have to be here, but it was my energy. It was not about them, of course. I mean, they were making me uncomfortable because I was thinking that they were looking at me, that they were judging me how I did the exercise. Or truth is, today I can dance in a gym and I can put up a show and use it as content, and I will laugh of myself, honestly. It's like I don't even care what people are thinking on the outside because I fix my relationship with myself. I think it comes down to that, honestly. When you're worried or too worried about what others have to say, you're putting the focus on them, not you. When you put the focus on yourself, you can pretty much be very ridiculous and don't care about, because it's kind of like you really don't care what people are gonna say. You just own your own thing and you're with your own energy and doing your own thing. So yes, I definitely didn't love the gym, but it was, you pointed out a very good thing, which is it was progressive. Because even when I started running, I didn't love the gym either, I remember. And the gym also felt like a chore because I had the little baby. So to me, just the thought of going into a gym and lift weights, it's like, oh, this is not really convenient for me. It was more convenient to walk, jog. As I started getting deeper into my fitness journey, I started noticing that if I wanted to be better runner, and stronger, you want to be stronger, faster, started getting, very attached to that concept, then I had to lift weights because definitely for me nowadays is like the only way, the only path to longevity, I will say. So I love running. I will always be a runner, a marathoner, but I'm pretty clear that strength training is a way to longevity. It's what's going to give us more, muscle and health long term. So you definitely need to mix both. You cannot, at least for me personally, but for the people and the women who work with me, I always incorporate um strength training is vital. And some of them, they don't even run, but some of them walk. So, and I also think walking is such an underrated exercise just because it's walking, but it's very powerful. And I always say this to the women that work with me, like, you don't need to run like me. I run because, well, it's just who I am and I love it. And I became such a fan. And I also changed my relationship with running throughout the years, but I always say this and I share it everywhere. Like, you don't need to run. This is me. This is who I am and I love it. But walking is just perfect for anybody. And people think walking just does nothing, and it's not true.
So many beautiful real life lessons in your story. And I love how you keep saying the word relationship. That's such a key word, right? Like your relationship with your body. You initially were doing things for the external reasons. I need to look good. I needed what other people think. I need to do this diet and do these workouts because of what external stuff. When you made that switch and became in tune with longevity, your body, how you feel, and then started working out, that's when it became a passion. And I think that's a beautiful part of your story is you show the negatives of when that relationship is I need to do this because, well, everyone else is, or what others will think about me, or because everybody goes to the gym. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate every second about it. But when you go, I need this for me, like you said, running wasn't your thing, and now you love to run. And not everybody loves to run. For me, I love lifting weights. That I call the gym the monsters playground. Not because I love to go to the gym every day and be around a bunch of people, because I have to throw away around a little weight. So I love that aspect of your story that the relationship with your body is really why you should be doing it. Do you think that's how you coach and teach when you're working with people new to fitness as well? Kind of start with that retraining their relationship?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always say that, I go out running outside and I go out to the gym and I can tell you, I'm not bragging. I swear to you, I can tell you by looking at people at their eyes if they're doing it as a chore and they hate it or if they are actually having their own moment. It's pretty easy to recognize. And it's such a difference, like you say, because there's so much value. Even I can assure you that you're going to be very effective and you're going to have best results. The best results, you're going to have them if you do 10, 15, 20 minutes with the right reasons, like with the right energy, like I'm doing this for me and I love it, versus 1 hour of dreading the whole thing and just hating it. It doesn't have the same effect. And I'm an advocate for this. And I, of course, teach this and talk to this with my clients because it's so important. It changes the whole dynamic, especially on today's world when, you see so many influencers, so many fitness people telling you, you should do this, you should do that. And people are like kind of lost trying to try all the things at once and actually never getting any results. And that's why, because a connection with yourself, the relationship with yourself has to be the pillar. It has to be a strong base in order for you to start this journey and go on. I lifted myself, and that's how I became a coach because, well, I had to learn this the very hard way, like throughout my journey. And that's why I don't want people to do. And that's why I teach this. And later on in my journey, for example, you said something very, very good. Like, you said that I was running for the wrong reasons and training for the wrong reasons, like for validation, recognition, like, or just for people to see me as a certain way physically, which was totally right. But not only that, I start my running journey even after I was pregnant and after I had my second daughter. I have two daughters, 14 years old almost and 8 years old. So when I had my second daughter, I was already running marathons, training, competing at a very high level, right? And I always share this story too because I think it's very important that just the same way you cope with different things like alcohol, drugs, and just how think of all the things that people do to cope with their emotional instability or the things they're going through with stress, like all of those things that they use that they're not good for you, or just maybe junk eating, whatever it is that you want to call it, like just eating bad or all of the things that usually people do to cope. I was coping with a very obsessive relationship with running. In what terms? Well, I wanted it to like compete, and I thought that being faster, getting PRs, getting first places, like getting, I don't know, sub 3 marathons was going to make me feel better about myself. And yeah, this is something that rarely I see people talking about, because as amazing as running and of course the fitness world can be, you can also get very obsessive and turn it into a coping mechanism that is bad for you if you don't actually realize it and ground it and again do it for the right reasons. So I lived that mentality that I want to do more, 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 more. I didn't respect my body. Sometimes I would wake up at 4 a.m. and it didn't matter if I was tired. The kids, to me, it was like, you got to do this. You got to do this. And it was always more, 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 more until I crashed. And until I had to live a divorce that put me face to face with all of my fears, with all of the things that I was avoiding and just trying to cope through running and recognition and achievements and whatnot. So that was the moment that my healing journey started. And that's why I think it's a it's a very important part of the journey. I do see people avoiding it and not talking about it. And yeah, usually when you start a transformation, you of course the whole thing that interests you is to change yourself physically. But there is no really true physical change if you don't start the change within yourself. The change starts within you. That's the only way you can make it sustainable. And definitely I teach this as well, because, well, we are just way too hooked in dopamines, in high hits, in the next diet, the next trend, the Ozempic, the set bound, whatever it is that's going to get us to lose the fat in 30 days, 90 days. But honestly, all of that doesn't matter if you don't change first internally. Yeah. And I got to leave that myself because I had to face all my fears. And then the most wonderful thing about this is that I rebuilt myself through movement. And that's why I love it so much. And it has such a special meaning for me today. It would never be a chore. It would never be something I dread. Of course, some days I'm unmotivated like anybody else, but I always go back to it because it makes me feel so good. And I completely changed my relationship with it. And if it wasn't for movement after my divorce, I always share this as well. There were times where I couldn't run, I couldn't walk even. Like 1 minute out there felt like hell. And I did it. That was the only thing that sustained me. That was the only thing that made me go another step and trust myself and trust that I was doing what I had to do for myself. So very powerful if you think about it, because when there was nothing that would tell me or no evidence that would tell me you're going to be okay, I literally picked myself from the floor and just gave another step. So movement saved my life.
It's very powerful. And I love also that you share this, that there is such thing as too much exercise. And I think that's something that we don't hear often, because everybody knows what you get when there's not enough exercise, right? Like that's been
Right.
told a thousand times. But I do think that the other end of the spectrum, the other extreme, can also be very harmful physically and mentally. So I really love that you shared that. As we talked about mentality and like mindset as well, actually there's a question here, because I'm curious also about motivation. So how do you find the motivation within you just to get started? What's the first step?
So the first step that I will tell you is to have a goal, like a mini goal, and make it very, very simple. It doesn't need to be like, oh, I want to lose. But like, don't make it so complicated that it's almost feels unreachable.
Mm.
And it has to be a tiny goal that you want to accomplish for yourself and make it very easy. And that let alone is the very like the lead that you need, the little motivation that you need to get up to do it for yourself. And then I would say another thing, combine that to another thing that you already do in it, like eyes closed, because it works like magic. So if it's harder for you to start or to keep some sort of motivation throughout what you're doing, tie it to a habit that you already have built. And it's very important to do that because you're going to do it. It's going to be easier for you to do it, right?
Can you give some examples from your own life or clients that you worked with, like habit stacking, like what works well, like which habits to piggyback on to start something?
Yes, of course. So, for example, I've shown a lot of dramatic increase of motivation when some of my clients, for example, I've suggested like in the evening to do a down of the evening, and then they put like they do a little meditation or just just turn off the lights and be by themselves like just 5 minutes. Some of them they do it already, some of them they don't. But when you tie this to literally putting together your clothes for the next day, I always say, um, if you're not a morning person, for example, and trust me, I have worked with a lot of people that are not a morning person, but they need to do it in the morning because probably they don't have any other time available. And it's funny because I always say, like, your day starts the day before. So
Mm.
when you set up the tone and you prepare ahead for the next day, I'm not going to tell you, oh, it's going to happen tomorrow and you're going to wake up like, but it's going to be easier. You just literally try to make it easier for you so you say no less.
It's
It
you don't
will.
have to think about it. It's not a decision you have to make because it's done already, right?
Right. It's like in your head, it's a decision you already made. The clothes are there, everything is ready. And then this is not about making you feel bad if you didn't do it, making yourself feel bad or guilty. This is about making yourself feel good when you do it because you're like you respected your choice from the day before and you went from. And I'm not gonna lie to you, some days you're not gonna feel like it, or some days you're not creating, you don't still have that habit established. So you're going to skip. And that is completely fine because progress we know is not linear. You go up and down and it is the way it is. But I can assure you when you tie it to something that you already do, other example I can give you, like brushing your teeth. You're just putting things on the time on a specific habit that you already have, or reading the book in the downtown park, or just tying it up to somebody you already do, or walking the dog, for example. It's another one that I use. So many people walk their dogs in the morning and then they combine their morning walk with the dog walk and then left the dog and came back and do other steppies. They felt great. And sometimes it's just so easy to do, but you don't see it when you're overwhelmed and when you're thinking like, oh, what should I do? Like this is it's gonna take me time. And the reality is that you have the time. You just have to organize yourself and try to make it work for you. And you also don't need, which it's another belief people have, like you need 1 hour, 2 hours. And everybody has their own priorities and their own life and work schedule. So the thing is to make it work for you, not to make it work against you and to make you feel like, oh, you're slacking.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah.
It reminds me of early in my journey, I had a mentor that would always say, make the bed even though nobody's coming over. Because what you do is when you wake up and you make the bed in the morning, even though nobody's going to see it, nobody's going to know you made that choice. But you made that choice. It's an instant win. You did something for the day and you chose to do something that you don't have to do. And it starts your day. And that your example of the little things, brushing your teeth, celebrate those little wins, release that natural dopamine. I love that example.
Yeah. For example, when I was pretty obsessed, like I share here, um, with running faster and winning marathons and whatever, like just very obsessed with the numbers and getting a better PR. And I was coping with running in a very bad way. I would wake up at 4:30 a.m. every day because I would run. I would run 1 hour and I'll be back in the house like around 5:30 ish, almost 6, which is the time that I wake up my kids for school, like 5:45, 6 a.m. So I'll be done before they wake up. My husband was sleeping, So I was like, literally, and so I would do all of this before they would even, be awake. And I did it for a long time, and of course, it took a toll on my health because I was not honoring my body for the rest that it needed as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as, working. It was just crazy. I don't even looking back then, I don't even know how I hold it. I was so obsessed. But I'm gonna tell you one good thing that I can tell you about that is that I always respected the decision that I made before, like, even if it had a toll on me. And one of the things that I used to do to wake up when I didn't want to, and I was very tired, it was not to, like, literally the alarm went on, and I was like, okay. And I remember waking up like literally the like very sleep yet, but I would put my feet on the floor. I would just go to and brush my teeth, and I was like, okay, I'm already up. Like, might as well just get dressed. Get dressed. Like, I don't want to until the moment I literally had a little coffee. Until the moment that I was upside, I was like, oh my God, why? Why do I do this? Okay. And then I did it. And then when I finished, I was like, okay, I remember now why I'm doing this. So I just wanted to point that out because even though it was unhealthy for the reason I already share, it did give me discipline though.
Yeah.
So you gotta also take a look at the things that are good, that are bad, be clear about it, and take what's good and what works for you. So I'm in a moment of my life right now. I'm divorced and I'm a single mom. I'm an entrepreneur. So right now, discipline is very important in my life. If I wouldn't have that, I would probably be, you know, I don't know where I would be, in a hospital probably. Like
Yeah.
you gotta have the discipline. You gotta have, like, you gotta know yourself and organize yourself to make it work for you. And when you have all that figured out, it gets easier too.
And so what changed? What was the moment where you realized that, okay, this is too much. This is kind of affecting you like in physical and mental health in a bad way. And how did you take control of that?
When I would say I realized right after my divorce, when I was when it was like it hit me, the realization of what I was doing, right? I started going to therapy, and I started talking to my therapist, and all of the things that I was feeling, all of the things that I was not saying, that I was not vocalizing, all of the things that I kept for years in secret, and all of the behaviors and things that I literally just went on. And this is not about, uh guilting anybody but myself. As I always say, I think when we go through life transitions, there's a responsibility that comes from you and from anybody else involved in the matter.
Yeah.
And my responsibility, talking about my responsibilities that I allowed too many behaviors, thoughts, things that I would just stay quiet, and I didn't know that we learned this since we're little kids, especially us women. Just teach to just please, people please, and be quiet and be pretty and be the good girl, and everything is going to be okay until you're not okay. And my way to cope with all of this was just running and get it obsessive and just do more and more and more as a mom, as a business entrepreneur, and as a wife, and it was never enough.
Do you think that it was maybe a feeling for you that that was the only thing that you really truly had control over was your body and what you were doing, like the exercise? That was that maybe
Yeah, absolutely. That is so beautiful that you brought that out, and I couldn't have said it in better words. I think that was, oh my God, you gave me goosebumps ears. I think that was the only thing that I was in control.
Mm,
And looking back, I have so much compassion for myself,
mm.
because I was just, your body is so wise,
Oh yeah.
so wise.
Love it.
And I was just running. Literally, I think I'm gonna cry. I was
It's
just
okay.
running for to feel good. Yes, it was the
Mm.
only time that, like, I had this connection with myself, and this control about anything else. But it's at the same time looking back, I didn't realize that it was that bad, you know? That's why it's so shocking to
Yeah.
look back right now. Because for me, it was like it was not even happening. But when this all happened and I see it like going down, and it was like a tower moment, right?
Mhm.
And that is the time that I see, oh, all of this was happening, and this was the running and the exercising and my moving was keeping me alive, pretty much.
Mhm.
Say it. It was
Coping
keeping me
mechanism.
alive. And then that was about the time when I started my healing journey. So I started to heal, to understand why I behaved the way I did, my beliefs. I literally questioned everything and anyone and everything, and started to heal. As I started to heal, I went back. So my body, that's why I say our bodies are wise, couldn't hold the pounding and the miles and all of this craziness that I was doing. I was back then on shape to run a 3-hour marathon, and I lost it all. Like I just relieved myself from that and started doing yoga. I love yoga too. Started doing more yoga, started doing more strength training in the house, and to allow myself to take time to just heal and take time. I started doing ice baths, all
Mm.
kinds of sort of things. And then I just released the pressure, but the pressure was never, externally. It was
You were putting it
I
on
was
yourself.
pressuring
Yeah.
myself. Yeah, I
Mm.
was like, you have to do this, you have to do that. And then when I released the pressure, it was the best thing ever because I was running and exercising and doing all these things truly for me and for my mental health. And it was never about showing or, a recognition, an achievement, feeling like I'm enough. Or just showing that I have a good body physically or any of that was not on the table anymore. And yes, it was very powerful, very, very powerful. Now I'm back. It's very exciting because now I'm on this stage of my journey. I'm training for my first marathon since last marathon that I ran. I ran it in 2023. That was the year of my divorce. And I made that marathon quite symbolic. It was about finishing the marathon,
Mm.
painful as it was. And I remember jamming all of this music and like, you're going to be fucking okay. Throughout the whole marathon, it just hyped me up with people. And
Yeah.
finishing that, it was like, if you can do this, you can do anything.
Mm.
And that was my last marathon. Now I'm going to run a marathon this year, April, and this is the first one that I'm training, that I'm doing all the things, but it comes from such a different place. I'm not that
Mm.
Lorena anymore, like, chasing perfect workouts or just putting
Mm.
in the miles to accomplish that PR. And of course, I know that you can reach, certain mentality and space where you feel on limit. And I always share this too. That's how you actually get the best of yourself. But I'm not focusing on a number anymore or this or that. It's
Mm.
better myself and show myself
Yeah.
as I can at any age, in any situation. And that's why I want to inspire everybody else to do the same thing.
Mm. I really love how these talks kind of weave into each other because this reminded me, I'm sure Brandon, you also probably have flashbacks to what Kyle was saying that when he ran a marathon for him, the moment he started, it was a win already because he did the training, he did the work. So he
Yes.
showed up with his best possible shape. And then whatever happened, it's racing against himself, right? And I love that also for you that we were talking about this, that running being like an outlet for you to cope and to survive, because that was the only thing that you felt that you had control over. And look at you now being in control and loving it from the inside and doing this not because you want to take control of something at least, but doing it because you are in control and you get to do this. You choose to do this. So it's a huge shift in energy. And I'm so excited for you to run that marathon and maybe bottle that feeling, afterwards. Like, how does that feel when you run it from alignment and from this kind of controlled situation that you created for yourself? So that's
I
really
am so
beautiful.
excited. I am so
Yeah.
excited. It's
Amazing.
I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's I don't have any pressure anymore.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, that pressure went off. And the only thing that I care truly, truly, it's to be better, to be
Mhm.
better. And to show others that it can be done, because I hear so many women today like, well, I'm over 40, so this is it. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? You're super young. Like, what do you mean this is it? I hear moms at school, I have this back problem, it's not gonna, well, it's gonna get worse. And like, I just want people to know that you can start at any age and you can do it and it can be done. I truly believe it can be done. As hard as it is for me right now, because I'm not gonna say it's easy. Some days I'm like, little questioning why am I training for this again? But then I remember, it's all part of who I am and who I deciding to become every single day for my daily actions. Simple as that. And yeah, it's very powerful when you look at it that way.
It is, and I love that because, like, even one of our favorite summit members, Mark Lawrence, like, commented the other day, he introduces himself, "I'm Mark Lawrence, and I'm restarting my life at 65." And I love that
Wow.
because you're never done, right? Until you're done. But you're never done. And you can still keep going. And so many people, I totally agree with you. So many people fall into that, like, oh, well, even I just turned 40 years old. You know how many people I know that are like, oh, and they act like they're 100. And it's like, I mean, some days, retired cage fighter, I feel like I'm 100. Don't let me lie to you. Some days my body feels older, but we're not that old. We can still get out. We can still do things. Like, and I love that you look at it at longevity like that. I really do, because a lot of people don't see it.
Yeah, it's like you minimum have 40 more years in life. What are you talking about? And why does it has to be like the worst years? Why would you assume they would be like the worst years of your
Mhm.
life? You can definitely make them the better years because you're wiser now. You know so much. Like I
Mm.
enjoying this time of my life, even though I don't, I don't have anybody. It's like feeling fulfilled and content with yourself is so important, so important.
Mm.
So I would definitely, and I always say movement has been so important for me to keep on. Oh, by the way, I didn't share that I'm on all of this. Like I had my parents living with me 5 years. So like literally last year, they moved out with my sister and they've been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia for the last 2 years. So I wouldn't have had the strength to deal with such a pain, to a grief, to see your parents just not be the same person that they were, if it wouldn't have been for movement and my mental health.
I've been holding on to this question for a while, and I couldn't have waited for a better segue, to be honest. You currently even are balancing a ton of stuff, right? And you've shared a lot with us. You balance a ton of stuff while still coping with new Lorena coping strategies. Coming from somebody who kind of had to be new Brandon and figure out new coping strategies, and I've had unhealthy relationships with my body and fitness and chemicals myself. And our brains get comfortable in certain areas, even if those areas are negative for us. And even years later, will try to pull us back into old responses and comfort zones. And I'm wondering, how do you deal with that when old Lorena's kind of push harder, do this? Because you're going to quiet that. It's still there. I know it is. How do you manage that?
My God, you are such on point with that question because recently that's what I've been feeling with my business. And I had to pull back for sure. And it hurt because for me, it was like, sometimes the narrative that I have with and the harm self-talk that I have with myself, which is all Lorena, is like, okay, you're never gonna accomplish this, or you're never gonna get this, or you're gonna lose all your work if you don't do this. And I have learned to give myself grace, to be compassionate with myself, to understand that I have to take a step back when I get into that mode because I'm not going to accomplish anything whatsoever. It's going to get me into a horrible loop that is going to be endless and it's going to drain me so much. But I have learned that. Trust me, Brandon, it hasn't been easy. It's like a brainwash that I have to do every single time that those thoughts behaviors come back, I'm like, you're going to be okay. You just have to step back. You have to trust yourself. And then you learn to trust yourself when you mistake repeatedly. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's another thing. Because I remember at the very, very beginning of this journey, I was so afraid to make a mistake. It's like I couldn't
Mm.
allow myself to make a mistake, right?
So
And
you
then,
couldn't allow yourself to be human, basically. You had the unrealistic expectations. I have
yeah,
to do it every single time. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
that's a lot of pressure. And then when you see, I think there's a reason why I had to be a single mom and why I had to leave a divorce, because literally divorce Lorena was like, what the heck do I do now? I do not know how to, like, financial decisions, like so many things, like house decisions. I have to deal with so much shit. You have no idea. And with so many people that took advantage of me in a very bad way. Some very bad things happened, but I'm grateful today for all those experiences, because now I know. I wouldn't
Mm.
even know all of that, but I have.
Was your schooling, right?
Yeah, I
Mm.
didn't know. I didn't know. All I can tell you is that you got to go through it. You got to go through the
Mm.
storm. You gotta learn and make the mistakes. And that's definitely what I'm applying to life, personal life, business,
Mm.
and it's just, fitness and everything. Like you just learn by making the mistakes. And they're very great teachers. And whenever I have those thoughts again, I just remind myself that I have to go back and take the time for myself. As long as I'm okay, I'll be able to deal with the situation better. That's what
Mm.
I've proven to do in the past, and I have facts, and so I believe in that. I'm always telling myself that that's actually a fact that happened. You handle it better, so
Mm.
just don't push yourself because you know you're going down the rabbit hole, right?
Mhm. I really loved what you said about giving yourself grace, because I see this in so many people around me who are kind and caring and loving to everybody around themselves except for themselves. They are so hard on their own self. And I would be curious if you have any kind of go-to practices, because it basically comes down to self-love, right? Like you have to include yourself in that love that you and care that you give to all the people around you. Do you have any kind of go-to practices that make you feel that self-love? Like any kind of, I don't know, taking a nice bath, or even running can be that, I guess, for you now because you repaired that relationship that you were talking about. Can you talk about that a little bit?
That is so pretty. That's a beautiful question. Well, I will tell you, I would think right away you were asking the question, and I thought about two answers right away. So the first one is I do. It might sound cheesy, but it works for me, and it warms my heart so much. So every single night, I'm on bed, lights off, just about to close my eyes. I say, "I love you, Lorena," and it's so
Oh,
powerful. Yeah.
we're just pals. It is very
Exactly.
powerful.
So just think about I don't have that person sleeping next to me. And when I do it, I remind myself like just proud of you. I love you. Like
Mm,
all that you did today.
I
And
love that.
I don't think we do that often. And even if we have a spouse, I think it's important to tell us like I love you, like
Mhm.
so freaking proud of you.
Yeah.
'Cause you have to. We go through so much as in all our roles in this society, moms, wives,
Yeah.
workers, whatever. And we don't give ourselves like 1 second to acknowledge, wow, like you went out throughout the day. This day started like very crazy and you handle it like a champ. Even
Mhm.
that sounds silly, but it's not. It is very powerful. I do it every day.
Mm. I love that.
And I'm gonna keep doing it no matter if I get a
Mhm.
partner or not, it doesn't matter. It's as you I just it fills my cup so much.
Mm.
Then the other thing definitely is the running and the training, because on the days that I don't want to do it, on those days that I feel like heavy, like barely holding on, like, single live mom and just entrepreneurship and everything's just spiraling. I go and take the time for myself and then I'm like, oh wow. I thank you. Thank you for doing this for me. Like
Mhm.
I'm thankful to myself for taking, even if it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, to just turn everything off and feel better. And I do not always, again, I want to say I do not always want to do it. Sometimes I just drag myself and I do whatever I can. If that day wasn't possible to go to the gym or to run, I just walk. But whatever I do, I move, because
Mm.
what happens is that when your body moves, you start working on your emotional resilience. I swear to you, I've lived this and I also teach this. So you got to know that your nervous system is gonna soften. You got to know that you're going to trust yourself more, because, well, you're going to make decisions based on your wealth, on your wellness.
Mm.
And that's very powerful. Even though when you feel like crap, when you probably have this negative self-talk, like, "Ugh, why is this happening to me?" Or I can't hold this. You take the decision, fuck it. Like, I'm gonna walk a mile or two. And then it's like, "Huh," like you mentioned earlier, I got the control. But this is a good control now. Like, literally, you can tell your body to soothe and to soften,
Mm.
and that is so powerful to me.
It's not control to be competitive, but it's control to show up for yourself, right? Like kind of an accountability. And I guess you don't have to beat your personal record every day. It's not even sustainable, right? But just as you say, walking or just doing something at least that moves the needle
Mm,
is kind of a promise that you made to yourself, and then you're keeping it, right? And
absolutely.
that's really powerful. Yeah,
I'm
I
kind of
love that.
curious, Lorena.
What?
Oh, sorry. I'm kind of curious. Do you honor, you have like a full rest day? I also have that mentality of if I don't care how I feel today, I'm going to work out. But body vitality is more than just fitness. You got to recover and eat well too. Do you honor like a rest day during the week? How do you do recovery?
Absolutely. I have one day completely off. And besides that, and if I need any other day, particularly if I'm feeling way too heavy with the responsibilities, the kids, and I didn't sleep well, for example, I know that my body's not is not gonna get the good out of the training. I completely say no, and I do not do it. And I think this is something you get from experience. So, and from my experience in working with women, I don't think when you're starting your journey, you know when to do this. So that's actually why I kept pushing myself through years. Also, of course, I was coping, but also it was not knowing myself quite and my body quite yet.
Yeah.
When your body tells you, it cues you to, it's exhausted or whatever, or even if it's not physically, you can be mentally exhausted, and it's not good for you to do anything. Just honor your body and step back, and you will always gain more. I will always say this: more performance. You'll get stronger. You'll get better if you listen to your body and the cues. So definitely, I'm not an advocate for just do it regardless, because that doesn't make any sense. Sometimes just do it, and you're not doing it for the good of yourself, and so it's not going to build you anything.
Mm. I really love that because I think there's certainly a lot of messages from the fitness world, like no pain, no gain, and like this kind of push through and almost like a Navy SEALs training mentality. Which, I mean, yeah, it's extreme, but it's a very specific genre, right? Like we don't need so many Navy SEAls, but
Or the
it's
never miss
very
a Monday. I
yeah,
tell you, never
it's
miss a Monday.
it's never, I mean, I find that extremes are usually it's not sustainable. So I love that your message is like learn to listen to your body's signals, because I think that's where it starts, right? As you were saying at the beginning, you don't really know, and then eventually respect it. It's okay not to do it if you are exhausted physically or mentally, because you will gain more from the recovery, from the rest, than to push through and then hurt yourself or get injured or just make yourself mentally scarred by it because you no longer enjoy it, right? Like it becomes that chore or that kind of obsessive thing that we were talking about. So I really love that message. It's kind of refreshing in the fitness. Or maybe I feel like there's hope. I feel like the weather is changing a little bit and it's getting a bit more towards the holistic approach, but there's definitely a lot of this no pain, no gain, do it. And there's plenty of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I kind of understand where you're coming from and how can that hurt people that haven't started their journey themselves. And it feels very intimidating because it feels like something you have to do in order to be successful. Because, of course, they look at these influencers, coaches online, whatever, telling them that this is what you need to do. And then it's like, well, why would I even bother doing that? Because
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not gonna
Yeah,
hold
yeah,
it, you know? And it's so
Mhm.
damaging, like you're saying. That culture, unfortunately, it's a strong part of fitness. And I just don't like it when I see people like never miss a Monday. Like, who cares? Like I always say, you can start on a Friday night. You can start on a
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
matter when you start or the days that you miss or never miss a Monday. What matters is the commitment to yourself and how you feel about yourself, not all
Mhm.
these crazy things, and the consistency. Brandon knows, like, you could do it twice a week, 3 times a week, but as long as you're consistent, you're going to get results.
Yes.
Brandon knows about this. So
And
Mhm.
a trap I see, and I think your story is a beautiful part of this. I can resonate with this a lot. When we use fitness to kind of catapult our wellness journeys or a lot of us call them like our day, the day that we kind of started everything, like our healing journeys, right? When we use fitness for that, what happens is we see like, holy cow, I made all these changes. I'm feeling better. I'm happy. I lost weight. I'm doing all this. And we don't want to go backwards. We don't want to go backwards in our healing journey. So we just head straight forward. And there's two options. You keep heading straight forward and you're going to start falling into overtraining, going too hard, or you learn how to then take care of your body, recover. And I think a lot of people, when they hit that point of deciding, like, now I have to learn how to really take care of this to sustain, to stay consistent. So I don't get hurt. So I don't run till the wheels fall off, kind of like you were at one point. I think you said something earlier that I want to re-say because it was so profound. You said I wasn't honoring my body for the rest it needed. And that was your breaking point. You
it
weren't
was.
honoring your body. So you can go, 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 go because you don't want to go back to wherever it was before you started your journey. But if you don't take time to rest, you're going to go downhill faster than you expected. And I think your journey really points that out. It's especially when you said honoring your body. And you say that a lot. And I love that you say it a lot because if you're not honoring your body, you're going to fall apart. Does that resonate with you?
Yes, 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 absolutely. And I make it a very, very strong statement within all of my channels. Just because what I see as Dinka, already commented, but I'm gonna add to it as well, is that for me is my purpose, is my life mission, right? And so when I see people trying to influence, especially women trying to influence other women into you can do it all, we have had enough of this culture and this belief and this mentality, and it's hurting us so bad. I grew up with that mentality that I had to do it all, I had to please everybody, that I had to do so many things to be enough, and it would never be enough. Guess what? People will hate you for the same reason that they will love you, and we got to stop that message that you need to do more, especially having two girls here in my house. I definitely don't want to, raise them with that mentality. They need to honor their bodies. They need to know that it's good what they're doing for themselves. They don't have to go do crazy things in order for it to be enough, right? And yeah, and also that message about, that we're seeing, unfortunately, is like, having now 8-year olds going to Sephora, doing makeup and doing tutorials on YouTube is kind of crazy for me on this world. But this is what I'm dealing with as a mom of an
Mhm.
8-year old. And so that you got to fix yourself, that you got to look pretty,
Yeah.
that the only way that you're going to be worthy is doing all of these things. It's so sad,
Yeah.
so sad, because we got to find our worth, in our power, in our character, in the things that we do that matter, regardless of achievements, the stereotypes of the society, and the things that we should look or should be. And so I definitely fight with this a lot because, as you know, in the fitness industry, it's just about any other influencer, any other people you follow. It's mainly about how they look and how they do it. And I I just feel so sad when somebody, for example, an influencer that I see online is like telling you that you can wake up, you can do this, you can do that, and she literally spends her whole day pretty much training and telling other moms that you can do it, and she
Mhm.
doesn't have a job. That's not realistic. We got to be more uh down to earth. We got to talk the realities. We got to stop showing people the highlight reel and telling that they can do it when it's unrealistic. Or even worse, influencers that are 25 years old telling you how do you should manage your life when you're a mom and you're probably divorced, single mom or not. You have like a wife, a husband, and your life. You cannot compare to an influencer 25-year-old training I don't know how many hours a week and looking pretty damn good naked, like. So I just feel like we gotta also filter the people we follow
Oh
advice,
yeah.
and we gotta take that out of our system because I've seen this for myself and for the women I work with. They get so depressed
Mhm.
watching people, and I always tell them, like, do you think that's their life? People share like a minimal part of their lives in social media. That's another topic. But also, like, don't compare yourself to an influencer that is 25 years old or an influencer that is a stay-at-home mom. She doesn't work. Her husband does it all, which I'm not shaming any of that. That's perfect. They're totally different scenarios. You have a job, like a full-time job. You do so much. And so we compare it with these people and we feel like trash. And that's so wrong, right?
Mhm.
No, that's not right. That's
This
definitely not.
is this is also something that Kyle was mentioning, that hopefully the time of the influencers and the gurus is coming to an end, and I certainly feel that here on Skool that it's a different culture maybe than Facebook and Instagram. I think on Skool authenticity is not only um, a requirement. It's not a requirement, but it's an advantage when you can show up and just tell your story like unfiltered without any glitter and editing. I think that's where you really connect to the right people, because not everybody will resonate with your story, right? But I am 100% sure that your story will speak to many, many people, many women who have similar struggles or similar goals to you. And I think that's the best marketing, basically, just putting your energy out there unfiltered as it is, and then it will come back to you because you reach the right people. And you are doing that amazingly. And I just wanted to say that you are also being an incredible role model for your girls, what you were talking about, like this trying to cover it all up and like this need to be something else that they are in order to fit in. You are giving them an amazing alternative and an amazing model that's not necessary, because I mean, if I look at you, why would how would you want to even improve that? It's beautiful that you're just raw, authentic, and you are in your center as much as you can every day, because that's the other thing, right? Like, you just do your best every day, and your best on Monday maybe is not the same as your best on Saturday, right? So but I totally see that in you, so I just wanted to share that
Ah,
with you.
thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, as I always say to the women I talk to, like, if you're like, if you today get up the bed and you couldn't, and you did a couple of things, that was your 100 today, for sure. So please acknowledge that and give yourself a pat in the back because you did it. Some days will look amazing and you will do a bunch of things. Some other days, getting up the bed was a challenge and you did it. And
Mhm.
and that's okay. That's okay.
And especially, combined with that amazing habit that I'm totally implementing starting today, that you do, like saying I love you at the end of the day. Would you say it also if you didn't do that much? Hell yeah. It's unconditional love, right? It's not like only if you ticked off all your little tasks from your to-do list, then I get to, say this. No, I think that's already um acknowledging the fact that you just did your best. It doesn't matter how much it was, but you did your best, and I love you anyway, whatever happened. So that's really powerful, and as I said, I'm totally stealing that. So thank you for that.
Go ahead and steal it. I'm going to share something very vulnerable here. Basically, the other day, I was having a very tough day in parenting. If you have kids, you'll know it's just, one day it's like a roller coaster pretty much. And especially with a teenager. So, um, she, just she hurt me. She hurt me. Teenagers hurt you every day now. So you can find me crying every single day pretty much. And just I'm just trying to be a conscious parent, respectful parenting, apply all of that. It's very hard, especially being a single mom. And it was a hard day. It was just a hard day with the little one. It felt like everything was just a problem that day. Right. And so when I finally went to bed very late, like 10 p.m., finally, trying to get some rest, I felt like, "Oh my God, what a day." Like, it was just horrible. I just literally wanted it to erase the day. And I, for seconds, thought, like, I cannot even say I love you. Like, it was such a bad day. I feel bad for many things that happened, anyways. And I still said it. And it made me, like, I just started sobbing and crying. I was like, oh my,
Mm,
am I going crazy now? But, yeah, I think that was the day that I needed it the most. So
mhm.
even though when I didn't wanna say it because I was kind of not upset, but I was just disappointed with myself and
Mm,
how the day went. Like you said, sometimes you just do your best, and I'm not perfect parent, or person, of course. So I was just reflecting on the things that I did wrong that day, and I was like, "Oh, man, why did you?"
but the fact that you could still give love to yourself even when you knew that, or you felt that you weren't at your best, that is actually a masterclass in self-love, because I think that we, especially the parts that we are not proud of, or we feel like, oh, that could be improved. If you can love that part of yourself, then you have an unshakable practice of self-love, because it's easy to love ourselves when we did well, and everything's going smooth and it's unicorns and rainbows. It's super easy, like everybody can do that. But
Yeah.
if you can love yourself when you quote unquote let yourself down, that's a masterclass. So I really applaud you for that. That is badass. So
You know what I said? Now that you're saying this, I literally said, "I love you for trying." Like, I remember repeating myself, "I love you for trying." Like,
mm,
I had to, not an excuse, but I had to say something that justify why I love you, right?
mhm,
So even though it was a crappy day, it was horrible, I said, like, "I love you for trying," because honestly, that's how I feel. I'm
mhm,
trying. I'm just trying. I'm not perfect at all. Just I messed up a
yeah,
lot, but if I learned something is that messing up is good. So
it's
I guess
data.
I'll keep trying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
no, I really love that. It's beautiful.
I think this has been a master class in honoring yourself, in discipline, in picking yourself back up, in knowing when to understand yourself. Lorena, your vulnerability has been class A. Like, just I can't thank you
Oh.
enough. And I know if there's people watching this on recording right now, they're gonna be like, "Where do I find more of Lorena?" And you do run a community for women and Brandon, don't you, here on School?
Yes, I do. My community is called Arisa Wellness, and right now I'm in the middle of revamping it as we speak. So, as I said, I have had, finishing 2025 was very tough in very different ways, but I'm going back stronger. Yeah, I'm gonna basically revamp it, the classroom, everything. I'm welcoming more people. I'm gonna start doing all of this with you guys and in my community, like having all the calls again and just, pumping about it to women online. I have an Instagram channel, Run to Your Place, and also the same Run to Your Place in YouTube. And I also have my community, Arisa Wellness, which is for women who are moms interested in build muscle, have the energy that they never thought they could have, and be confident. Because again, as you can imagine, and as I already discussed with you, for me, it was life changing to find confidence through movement. Okay. And that's what we definitely zoom out here. It's, it goes beyond the physics, but as I always say, it's very good to feel good naked also, like to have that extra thing going on and feel good about yourself when you look in the mirror. But the change and the transformation comes from within. And when we work on that, we can sustain it for life. And yes, it's a very nice community. And I can't wait to have you all there, join, connect, and make it 2025, 2026, the year that you actually start your transformation.
Love that. And I promise,
Amazing.
ladies and moms, I will back out of the community a little bit if you see me out and out. I'm just supporting my girl.
He was like, "Should I leave your community?" Because when I launched it, it was for open for boys and girls. It doesn't matter. Probably we'll probably kick you out someday, random, or maybe not. No, because you're an OG and you've been amazing. Thank you so much, honestly, from the very beginning. It's been a blessing to find people on this journey like you. You, Gabby, like people I've met that I had no idea. It's so inspiring and so amazing when you find people with the same goals, and they're not people who are telling you you're crazy, you should get a job. So I value you so much, and you now, Dinka. I really appreciate your time, your effort, and everything that you're building, and just the inspiration, honestly, because I need more people like you in my life to
We
keep
all
going.
do. I think that's pretty much our mission. That we always say this, that the high tide raising all boats. We can all win together. It's not a competition. I think our biggest aim with this summit is kind of, maybe it's ambitious, but I feel like we are changing the culture on Skool. Like there's a lot of this kind of um competing with each other, and no, you cannot be my community because you will take my clients, or I don't know. And I think that's basically what we are aiming for with this summit, is to make people understand that we can all win together, and we can all support each other and learn from each other, and we don't have to do everything the same way, because everybody has different communities as well. But so it's been really fun to talk to you, and I'm definitely going to be more active in your community. You inspire me, and yeah, I hope that many others will join as well, because I see the amount of value that you bring, and just your heart, your authenticity is really amazing. So thank you for all that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for giving me this space. And I appreciate you both and your time again. And what you're doing is amazing. I just really admire you so much. We need more of this energy, and we
Yes,
can
yes, we do.
I agree with you. We have to like grow together. This is our mission. This is
Yeah.
where we're happy. This is why this conversation felt like a coffee,
And I've been loving
Yeah.
it.
break. Yeah, because it's so easy for us to just connect and tell our truth and speak
Yeah.
from this place.
And
So
not every conversation has to be like a sales pitch, right? Like we can also just share our stories and talk to each other. And it's no secret that for most of us, our Skool communities, it's also our business. We are not here only to talk about what we talk about, but it's also our business. But I do think that you don't need a better sales pitch than what you just shared, that your own transformation, that speaks much more than any kind of professional marketing video, that everybody can see your journey from the one side to this side, where you are completely in your center, and you can offer that to other people to empower them and to give them the tools. So I totally see that in you, and it's really inspiring. So thank you so much again, Lorena.
thank you.
Are we going to do the little wrap up things, Brandon?
Yeah, this is a section of our call where
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap up. So I'm gonna let Dinka do her show here.
Oh, it's not really a show. Each
I was
time
looking for a word.
I draw a card from a deck for our speakers, and the card you got today says Fire Guardian.
Oh my God.
Ignite your passion. And I really think it's fitting because I can totally feel that from your words, like how passionate you are about this. It's not just a business, it's a mission for you to help and empower women to achieve what you have achieved. And this is something that has also been kind of echoing through the calls, that most of the times your own wound becomes your medicine, like the struggles that you survive and go through will give you the ability to bring something amazing into the world, and that's so beautiful to see.
Oh
Thank you
my
so
God, I
much.
love thank you so much. Good spawns again, by the way.
So,
Yeah.
Raina, a couple of years ago, we started out as fist bump and bicep emoji buddies, bro and gym girl, hundreds of people with aspirations to be coaches, wellness practitioners, you name it. Hundreds of people on calls. And a couple of years later, there's not many left. And here you are, girl, and I'm freaking proud of you.
Oh,
I'm freaking proud of you,
oh
first
my
and
God.
foremost.
Thank you.
Proud of both of us. I'm gonna start your technique too. Just like take
You got to keep going. Yes, proud of
a
us.
master class,
Yes.
and I
We've been
appreciate that.
able to go through it, and it's been a journey. I think the only way that you can fail is if you quit, you know? And also I have learned that there are a few things in life that you should quit for sure. But this is not one of them. And I'm so happy you guys are on my journey and with me and to be able to share it with you. So it's a pleasure.
So with that, it's our common thread question for that I ask every guest as we end. What does evolution mean to you?
We're forever changing. We are not meant to stay the same, of course. And I know changes are very scary, but they're also the ignition to step into a new you. And you're always continuously changing and evolving. And it's so great. That's a great thing about life. So in everything that you do as a person or in any area of your life, as long as you're continuously evolving, you're living to me. That's pretty much evolving is living. You can't we're not meant to, be dead flowers or
I love
just
that.
stay like an AI, and this is actually I'm gonna bring this metaphor because on AI, years, that's something AI would never do, which is, be human and have all these complicated feelings and things that we go through life. So as good as they make it seem, and it could be, of course, and it's useful. You're here to live, get out of the screen and live, and also at the same time use that screen as we do as a tool to share your evolution. That's what I think we're meant to do.
Amazing. Very, very well said.
Absolutely amazing. I can't thank you enough. Lorena, this has been a lot of fun. These calls are a lot like sitting at a table having lunch with people, and I've been loving that. Hey, Evolution 2026, Evergreen Foundations, we got two of these today. We're doing this twice today.
It's
Double
double
trouble.
trouble. Yeah.
We got Ro the Mermaid coming up in about an hour. So join us, everybody. And Lorena, have a beautiful day. You got an army behind you now. Trust me, we're coming. Women, go to her community because she's gonna lose me.
I need the recorded call, please, because I want to post it in my community. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll see if I can jump in the next one because this call was terrific. Thank you so much. You're
It's
such
really
great
cool.
hosts, both of you.
Thank you for bringing your magic, Lorena.
Bye,
All
guys.
right.
Have a great
See
day.
ya. Bye bye.